Hey guys! So as you can see from the title, I thought I would do a journal update. It's been a while since I've kind of sat down with you guys and talked journals, so now would be a good time. I honestly can't remember what number journal I left off with, so I'm going to start with the most recent inserts that I've finished. And to kind of change things up, I thought I would kind of do a quick flip through of certain pages of my journals to kind of show you my journaling style. I know some people have asked, how do you journal in your journals? And I'm not going to do a thorough flip through only because I don't have the camera set up for that. It's just sort of hard to do that. But at this angle, I'm going to work with what I got right now. So these are the finished inserts that I've got for the past, I want to say, couple months, more than that maybe. This is 63 and 64, which are the, I want to say 003, the blank inserts with the 64 pages from Midori. And then I can't remember what number insert this was, but this is number 65. I might have the label in here. This is the number 2 in the grid paper. And so, and then currently I'm in my Midori here. I've actually attached the mini collectible Midori on a kind of like Tim Holtz clasp because I didn't really want to use it as a keychain and accidentally lose it. And then I'm on number 66, which is back in my favorite insert, which is the 013, which is the super thin paper. And I don't normally decorate the front, but I thought I would for this one. I added some sort of like French cafe thing. But then I just finished the Game of Thrones season 6. So I thought it'd be kind of fun because, chair, throne, that I would add later once I'm done a seal, and I've got the Game of Thrones seal. That's got the hand of the king on there. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of like stamp that on there to kind of signify the end of season 6 of Game of Thrones. So 66 is the one that I'm in. I've actually got just maybe 10 or so pages left in here. Maybe just a little bit more and I'll finish in that. And I'm going to start decorating the next insert, which is going to be another 013 insert to get that ready for my Midori. Okay, so number 63, I didn't really bother decorating the front. For the most part, I just like the uniformity of not having decorated pages. And I don't have to worry about like things becoming unstuck or loose or ripping off of the covers. Eventually when I store everything or I find some storage for it, it might be a little bit better, but in the meantime, this is what I got. So in here I've got a Klimt art sticker because that's what I like to do with all of my Midoris, is put some sort of art sticker in the front. I'm curious to see what you guys do with these because I've not seen too many people describe what they do with that box. Maybe like put quotes in or something like that. In this one, it was right before we were moving and we were just planning a trip to go to Seattle to check out apartments. So the very first page I actually had just like a packing list and I added some packing themed stickers. This is like probably hotel information. I'd just gotten a bunch of like old stamps, so I thought I would kind of glue those in. Vintage stamps are a great way for you to decorate. I think it's just an easy way for you to add color if you're really into that kind of like old postal theme. You can find them for really inexpensive prices. Just look on eBay or Craigslist even. I think it's just a really fun way to add elements to your journal pages. Sometimes when I'm drinking or change up my tea, I kind of add tea packets to that. And oh, here's a fun one. I was playing around with making my own stamps. I wanted to make a Midori stamp, so that was like the mistake one. That was supposed to be like, the string around the Midori, and it didn't really work out. When you're trying to carve out stamps in the opposite image of what you want it to look like, it's hard to do. And I made a cloud one, and I thought of some ideas of stamps that I wanted to work on. Some more vintage stamps. Sorry, I'm in a weird angle here. Trying to find some interesting pages. Oh, so this is when we were traveling. This is like the plane ticket and the airline like luggage tags. I took a few and just added that to my journal. Some more travel things. Sometimes when you see like those little free things that you can get from hotels, I think that's a fun element to add to your journals. This is a label from a candle. I can't talk, guys. It's been a while since I've filmed. This is a label from a candle that I really liked, so I ripped that off, and it came off pretty easily, so I wanted to remember that, so if I wanted to find that candle again, or that brand of candle, I could. This is the packaging, the paper packaging off the bar soap that we stayed at the hotel, and I thought it was just very chic looking, so I really liked that. Brochures are a great thing, so you can grab one, and if you don't want to save the whole thing, just rip out certain elements. I do that all the time. I take the brochure and I'll just rip out the name of it, or rip off the little section of like the food that you ordered at the restaurant, or just grab the napkins and actually scribble your entry right there, which is what I usually like to do. I just like the look of it. It was just very pristine and lots of negative space. I like that. So I just kept it the way it is, but sometimes I'll grab napkins and I will just write a little note and then stick that in my journal. So that way you kind of have like a textural element in your journal, which I think is really fun. And this was like our little itinerary and places that I wanted to visit. So I kept that in there. I'm eventually going to use some washi tape and tape that in. Oh, see, here you go. So I grabbed a brochure from Safeway. That was my first time in a Safeway, so I wanted to remember that. And I took some pictures with my Instax camera. Sometimes when Brian, my husband, is getting like a soda, like a bottled soda or a beer, I will try to rip off the labels from them and add that to my journal. And some journaling cards and photos. I don't tend to do a lot of negative space in my journal, which I'm trying to work on because I really like that very clean, blank look. But at the same time, I don't do it often because I feel like it's a waste of space. And inserts, you know, inserts can be a little bit pricey when you have too much of that negative space that you're using or not using. So, but I really like the look of this page. These were magazine pages of just like a cool gardening journal image that I ripped out from a magazine while I was on the plane, so I wanted to save that. Plane tickets. This was like a tag that was waiting in the, like after you return your rental car, they had this sitting next to like one of their stands, and I just grabbed one and stuck it in here because I like the look of it. I thought it was cool. It kind of adds a flip element, although it doesn't look like I journaled under that, so oh well. And not too much going on here. I added some color to my pages and decided to add a sample of all the sticky notes that I got from Daiso. That was kind of fun. Postcards from like restaurants, sometimes they include those in your, you know, when they send you the bill and they have like a comment card or something like that. I like to grab those, and if it has the restaurant name on it, that's a nice little keepsake from places that you've tried. And then because we were getting down to the last few weeks in Milwaukee, I really wanted to save little tidbits of places that we were visiting. So this was like a leaf from one of our walks, and I just pressed that between wax paper. This was a coupon that was given to me by one of my favorite stores in Milwaukee. Sadly, I couldn't use it because I'm not there anymore. This was the label to the Wisconsin Field Notes set that I got, which was my first set. And This was like a business card from one of the places at the public market in Milwaukee. My husband got a like a hat from the public market from like Brew City brand, so it's like all Milwaukee swag. And Boswell Bookstore, this is one of their bookmarks. So just fun little things to start remembering Milwaukee. So that's 63. And then 64 was much of the same thing. I added a lot of elements of things that I wanted to remember. I've got another Klimt art sticker. And then usually I'll add in like all the little Midori bits that come with the inserts. I'll put in what insert number it is. And I really like this thing right here. It's adding the date with the washi and the day, and then some sort of stamping, and then like the weather. It's from this set right here. It's the Studio Calico One Little Bird set. I got it in like a little grab bag, which was perfect. I use this every day pretty much. I love that set. And oh, this is a fun thing. I get a lot of library books, and I have this like little thing where I like to collect all the little notes that come in the library books. So this happened to be in one of the cookbooks that I got. I mean, how cool is that? It's just like a fun vintage element that you just come across. So every time I see like little sticky notes of notes people have written and just forgotten about in library books, I like to add them and just collect them. It's like it's a quirky little thing that I like to collect. Usually when I get back from a trip, or I've got several weeks of photos building up, I tend to print them all at once, and then I'll just go back and add them. So that way I don't have a separate scrapbook for my photos. And I prefer it this way so everything's all in one place. I have all the memories in one place. And oh, this is from like an art museum brochure in Milwaukee, from the Milwaukee Art Museum. So I cut out, that was one of my favorite exhibits. So I had to add that. This is another favorite painting that's from the Milwaukee Public Museum, or not the Milwaukee Public Museum, the Milwaukee Art Museum. More magazine cutouts of things that I wanted to save. So magazines are a great way for you to do that. So if you see like outfits from catalogs even, like I really liked that outfit, that was from a J. Crew catalog, I'll just stick that into my journal. More vintage stamps. Tried to do some lettering, that really didn't work out. Not really good at it, but you know, whatever. Be creative. Don't be too judgmental with your creativity. Some cool images from a Martha Stewart magazine, some cool interior cutouts. I love magazines for that. So eggs, I love pictures of eggs. A postcard from Palomino, that's another place in Milwaukee. We ate there a little before we left. I visited the Milwaukee Library, Central Library, and they gave me a bookmark for visiting. I grew up with that library, so I was really happy that they did that. And we went to Stone Creek Coffee, and oh, I had gotten some things at the Central Library bookstore, so that was like a little brochure that I grabbed. And oh, this was like the little tag for the dry cleaning that was in our building that we lived in. So I just kept that in there. We went to a sushi place in the 3rd Ward, so I ripped off the beer tag and kept the chopsticks wrapper. And Simma's, we went there for cheesecake when we had a cookout with my in-laws. And then, oh, and then I'd use this to make a list of things that I needed to like pack or make sure to go to the pod. Tea packets, so that's from Fortnum and Mason. Not in Milwaukee, but I had the box from when we were in England. And I'd gotten a bunch of Milwaukee postcards right before we left, so that way I can add them in my journal. So I like to do those little tip-ins and write on that. So postcards are a really great way for you to do that. I used to be such a collector of postcards, and I would never do anything with them. I have so many sitting in a box right now, and I'm starting to add them as tip-ins so that way I can collect them but actually use them and make them sort of like an interactive element in my journal, which I really like. So that's I guess a tip for you if you are a collector of postcards. So that way it's, you know, something real and tangible that you can remember with in your journal when you're writing about the moment. This is the rip out page of Alice in Wonderland. We went to see the ballet. That was really cool. That was so well done. And I glued in the cast list and the ticket. Oh, and during intermission, they had this huge area where you could sign up your kids for ballet, and there was a huge gift shop area, and they had this cool card made, and it was to talk about the Milwaukee Ballet School of Academy for Kids. So I thought that was really such a fun design. I added that to my journal, and pictures of us just visiting various places in Milwaukee, museum, brochure things at the Milwaukee Public Museum, another beer label, tip-ins from the cookout, and another postcard from the Milwaukee Public Museum. More pictures of eggs. This is turning into a long video, so I actually might turn this into like a 2 or 3 part thing, so I don't talk your ear off. But more Alice in Wonderland information. My brother and I went to Braze right before I left, and they had I think another postcard of some sort, so I just like that it had the word Braze on there so I can remember that. And I wrote about the food that we ate, a cool Milwaukee vintage postcard which I wrote on, and that's kind of it. I just kind of filled the space with a lot of like little tea things of places that we went to and that I ordered tea from, or like food business cards from restaurants. Lots of food memories. I love food. So, oh, and then my niece and nephew at the cookout drew me each a page so I would remember them, and I thought that was really cool. We were talking about Pokemon, so they drew Pokemon. And then my niece drew this for me. That's me and that's her. So I thought that was really cute. She wrote me a note. So that is number 64. And I'm going to actually cut it off here. So this is part 1 of the journal update, and I will do a flip through in my next one of 65, which is the road trip insert. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Bye.